It's the one-year anniversary of Simon Asher's death. We finally thought we were going to get a little bit of Caleb Haas this episode. And Are You Strong Enough to Face Yourself? Season 2, Episode 6 of Quantico starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It is very scandalous here. The Quantico After Show. I'm your host, Drexel Heard. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drexel Heard.
Hey!
Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you. So excited to be back.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just going to crack up at you the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
I like sitting next to you. Hey guys, I'm Andrea Fasano. So excited to be back to the Quantico After Show. And you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Andy Fasano.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel, and on Snapchat at the Renee Ariel.
And we've got a new panelist today. Please welcome to the panel, Mr. Timothy Michael.
Hey everybody, I'm really excited to be joining this panel, you guys. This episode was fire, so I'm so excited that this is the episode that I'm in on. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Timothy Mike.
Yes.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the panel. Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you.
We missed having you here. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. It's been
We
like
didn't
3
even know
weeks.
she's going to come back.
Yeah.
Me and Andy were
We
together.
were getting worried.
It was touch and go there for a minute.
I know. I was like, Andy, you got to come back.
But not
The fans
because
are
of the
missing.
show
fans
and
are
not
missing.
because of you guys. So, way to hold it down, by the way.
Thanks. We are, like I said, we're glad to have you back. Season 2, Episode 6 of Quantico tonight. First thoughts, what do you guys think?
Crazy episode. I got really into it. Just so many twists and turns, and but I will say I did call a couple things.
She was all over it.
I know she'd go, oh
Talk
my
about
God.
on fire.
That remote in the pocket called it.
Yes.
And what else did I call
The
it?
fact that she wasn't.
Oh, the fact that she was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to...
Oh, and Caleb. Caleb's number in the phone.
That's what
Hey,
you
hey,
called.
One up.
Yeah.
That's what she called. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Tim, what'd you think?
I thought this episode, just like Renee said, that was full of twists and turns. The last 5 minutes, I was like, blood and gore plus this like what is happening, and I knew that ending was gonna happen because they had kind of touched on it throughout the episode, but yeah, I guess we'll talk about that later.
I feel like the last 2 episodes, they always, I'm sure, try to leave you with a cliffhanger, but never works. Like for me in this show, but the last 2 episodes were total cliffhangers for me, and that's what makes a good show for me. You know, especially something like this.
I thought the episode was great. I mean, they've gotten so much better. We were talking about the ratings last week, about how they had been dipping a little bit, and I think that has a lot to do with the election, in the sense that nobody's really watching. There's so much going on that why would you, if you're having to talk about FBI every day, why would you want to watch a show about the CIA? Like, why would you want to watch?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, hopefully, like I said, the show's getting much better. So hopefully the ratings will reflect that over the next half after the winter break. Make sure you guys are hashtagging on Twitter ABTV Quantico. Follow AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV. So today's episode was called Aquiline. Aquiline is actually, because they've been kind of, this whole season has been about CIA terms. Aquiline is actually a CIA product, a 1960s, 1970s CIA project about low-flying surveillance or drones, which was this whole
Makes
episode.
sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the task first, and then we'll talk about the past. So the mini task this week was whether or not the group could come up with a unanimous decision on a drone on a suspected drone strike. Could you guys, based on the criteria, well, first of all, could you guys make that decision?
No.
It's really hard. I understand why there's 7 steps, because you really have to be sure. But I kind of liked what one of them said about the fact that the information they were getting was not, I think it was Alex, the information they were getting wasn't direct. Like, they didn't interview the person themselves. So how are you making that gut-wrench decision, like that gut-check decision, when you weren't the one hands-on talking to this person or finding out whatever intel you could? I thought that was a really good point. So I don't know. For me, I have to go with my gut and kind of your conscience in the same way. And that'd be really hard.
And in all fairness, there are people in that room that have been trained to do this, and they couldn't even make a decision.
Right.
So don't put it on us, who
Yeah,
are
really.
basic
I know.
civilians. Well, I would be No?
No, I don't know. Is he bad? Do we know if he's bad? Like, that would be amazing.
Which is what Alex was saying.
Right.
You know, it comes down to, you know, your personal beliefs about the death penalty. At the same time, a national security threat and a global threat. How do you make that determination? I think that that's something that that's very important in this election. There were a lot of terms that they talked about Aleppo, which has come up quite a bit this election. And the President Obama's drone program, that's very a hot button issue. So, you know, this drone programs are like are very touch and go. I think it would be a very difficult decision to sit in a room. I wrote down, I couldn't remember if the CIA actually gets to make the call by themselves. I feel like you have to go to the White House to make a call like that. Like the White House has to be involved. When he did that, when, you know, because so we talked about the mini task, which was could they make a decision in there within the confines of the farm, but then the main mission was to go to Langley and then do this big decision desk. They still had to go through the steps and come up. All the teams had to come up to make this decision.
That's what's weird to me this season versus last season. The director of the CEI, who's in the middle of teaching CIA, in the middle of teaching. I'm too tired. I couldn't finish.
I was like, CEI, is that something?
You know what?
There's a new one.
They're just the CIs to me. The director, all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm just in the middle of teaching a class. Push the button. He's dead. Okay, on with the next lesson. You know, like it's a little too. There's something about this season that's a little too quick for me and not as in depth as some of the other seasons. So.
I think another thing that I am having a hard time of with this season is the fact that they're all CIA/FBI, like they're all in this kind of field, but they make it so obvious when they're trying to find out information from each other. It's like so obvious. I'm like, you can't be a little bit more sneakier about it.
Right.
It just bothers me. I don't know if you guys have ever touched about this.
It makes you, as the audience, feel like they're playing stupid to you. Like, like you're dumb.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we know these characters and because we're involved in that we can that we think that they are that the information they're getting is like because we know them.
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh, okay.
Right.
Duh, that's Tim's point, and then they're just doing that. Okay, so a lot of things happened in the past. Obviously, we started the episode out with Alex's dream about Simon. A little flashback. Tate Ellington, obviously not on this season, so maybe he just got a little bit of residuals from flying off the side of that. So it was great to see Simon this episode, and it kind of had a huge effect on everybody that episode from prior season.
Yeah.
Did you guys miss Simon?
Yes, in that moment, I'm like, can they not bring this up right now? Because that was such a tragic scene, guys. And then they had to show it again in her. Oh, God. It just brought up bad memories. And I was like, maybe Simon's alive. I don't know why I thought that. Simon's not alive. And I'm like, well, maybe. Maybe Caleb would come back. He didn't.
No.
I was over it.
You're over
I was
Simon?
over Simon then, and
my
I'm
gosh.
fine with him being
Yeah.
gone now.
I'm on the same page as
I'm
Andy.
like,
Yeah.
okay, and next. So, like, first of all, you guys, this is what I'm saying. Like, Alex is a CIA/FBI agent, and I understand the friend's death. It's a year gone. I understand, but I feel like Ryan's kind of right. Like, the fact that she let it affect her so much in this kind of like, you have to stay focused.
Right, and I think a lot of the what I wrote down, a lot of this episode centered around their personal stories. They used their personal stories a lot this episode to manipulate each other into something else, or to make a decision. Like even when they were in the room in the main mission, they used each other to try to turn the other's opinion about that. Do you guys feel like that's a fair way to, especially in like hot button decision makings, to try to manipulate somebody by using their personal?
Well, that's what the CIA is all about.
Right,
that's like what they're learning.
Well, I mean, as a team, and I think that you saw what happened when Harry and Ryan and Alex got outside, and they were like, "Oh wait, this isn't a personal game anymore. We need to start trusting each other as a team."
But they're not a team. Like all you learn. That's as far as I've seen at the farm is like, don't trust anyone. You're on your own. Trust the mission. It's your duty.
But this was the first time that they had to do a team situation where they all had to be unanimous.
But you know, the thing is, we were told that, and then in the end, no one even had the right to make the decision.
Right.
Except he was going to do it anyway.
That's
Yeah.
how I feel is different in the season. I just feel like the tasks are totally different. They're not really learning from them. I feel like they're just tearing them down.
Yeah.
And then,
know?
and we'll talk about that in a little bit, because then you start to see that in the present, how quickly they could get in a room and tear at each other
Yep.
with the smallest amount of information. One of the other big things that happened, and I think somebody in the chat, I think Kenny Brown brought it up. He said, we found out that Alex got kicked out of the farm, I guess in the present, is that they spent a lot of time, it's a little recurring situation where the media person what I call the administrative assistant during when we were watching, kept coming up to Alex and saying, we need your story. It just kept coming up as if it's going to be a major problem for them later on, which might be a reason why she gets kicked out, because they don't have a good enough story to keep her away from the public. What do you guys think?
Yeah, but we didn't even get to see what she said.
Yeah,
Right? They
I
didn't
thought
go
that was
over that.
weird. No.
They kept building it up, and then all of a sudden it was her and Ryan, and she was like, "Yeah, I gave my story." That I found super weird, especially because the last time we saw her say something, it was to Harry. I believe that was the last time, and it was something about getting the blood tests done, and then we didn't actually see the test going on. Maybe it wasn't important, whatever, something noted. And this time, she was supposed to take Alex to make the statement. We don't see that happen. We just get the aftermath. I find that weird that that's a reoccurring thing with this character.
Right.
Well, the blood test thing was for when they were trying to test out their stress factors, and that's why they had those watches on. So they were just playing
As far
mind
as we
games with them.
know.
True.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I'm listening too. I agree with you. I just like I said, this whole season with those task things, but definitely with the trust no one fact.
That is, trust no one. You know
Harry,
what to do.
Yeah,
Drink
exactly,
a little.
Right? Drink time.
Drink time.
Harry just comes back, and I trust no one. Like we said this in episode 1 of this season. Like we're all not believing anyone because of the way that they like cat and mouse you on Quantico, and the writers want you to like look over here, but like really it's over there. I am feeling even more frustration with that, because in season 1 with the director, with Liam, he used to say stuff that would kind of throw you off, but now it's like Harry is in everybody's business, and he's just doing it to ruffle feathers. And
But why
that's
is
it.
that?
Like,
Do you
what is anybody's aim?
Yeah.
The only aim we know is Ryan and Alex.
And do you think that Harry's doing that a lot because, first of all, what we do know at this point, and I think it's pretty evident in fact now, of his MI6 connection, or is it? I don't know. That he's really trying to hide something. I do believe his backstory of being gay is fact and true, and
I believe
his
that as
MI6
well.
story might be fact and true.
I think
So
it
there
is.
might be, because he circled back on Sebastian at one point when Sebastian got really mad at him, and you did see some personal realness
Yeah.
from Harry in that moment when he was like, I'm sorry I had to do this because I'm doing Ryan. Is he compromising like his personal life for his need to know about Ryan and Alex?
Well, that's the one thing that I really liked about this episode, was the fact that they are starting to touch on different characters' personal issues. I don't know if you guys caught this, but with Diana's specific story, and I don't know why it stood out to me, but in the beginning of the episode, there was a photo of her with 2 white parents at her college graduation, but then at the end of the photo, she's with 2 black parents when she's a baby. So there's probably something kind of adoption in there at some point. And I just found it interesting that this episode was highly focused around their personal issues, and I think you're right, Drexel. It is going to come up in the future, between this year at the federal hall and when they ended these lessons, and how it's affected their personal issues, have affected their decision making getting up to this point.
And Kenny again in the chat room said they burned Owen because his name got out, so everybody knows who Alex is, which confuses me. And I think at the beginning, they in their first couple episodes, they touched on that, and they said, with Alex, people already know who she is, but they might not assume that she's CIA. So it's a little bit easier for them to say, oh, Alex is not CIA.
Right.
She can't possibly be CIA because everybody already knows she is. So that makes her that gives her the perfect cover on that. There was also Lydia. Obviously, we're still getting to know, just trying to figure out. Obviously, Owen has some issues. Still from last episode, we found out what he really wanted, which was to find out the sources who leaked his name out. And part of me thinks So then he asked Lydia to kind of go and check out the aliases because he had all this information. Lydia goes back, finds out that, probably finds out who they were. But did you guys think that, I wrote down that I think Lydia was one of the sources.
Ooh. That's really good.
And partly because she constantly brings up the fact that she wanted her dad to be around.
Well, yeah, she's like, I'm here, look at me.
She's like, I'm here, look at me, and like a kid. And she wants to be the field op.
Mm-hmm.
She knows he wants to be the field op. Mm-hmm. So who's the perfect person to leak somebody's name out but your own daughter who already knows that you're already in the field but he's never at home?
And clearly she's evil.
Well, and also we
Clearly
still don't know
she's
what
evil.
happened with her mother. And I'm thinking that something along the realms of whatever happened to her mother, because her mother's obviously not in the pictures, maybe something dramatic happened there, that has caused this little
Rift
between them two, yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust her. I don't trust her for anything. I thought when that neck thing was going around her, I was like, bye-bye, Lydia.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't mind people dying.
Oh my gosh.
Bye, chop that head off,
We'll talk about the
whatever.
president. It's like it was clearly like a Walking Dead moment. Like, why can't they just put a whole bunch of stuff around the Walking Dead, the zombies out there? One of the other cool, because you mentioned, you touched on just kind of the realism between like, what the writers want us to see versus what we actually know about the CIA. But one of the really cool things that I thought about happened in this episode was they actually showed us, not only are they showing us tasks, but they show us certain elements that happen in undercover operations. And today we saw how they can take a backstory, like an old story, with Shelby was like researching an old story and creating a cover story for somebody. And I thought that was really cool. Maybe it does happen like that. Maybe it doesn't happen like that. But chances are it does, because you do need some sort of paper trail to create a story. And I thought that was really cool. Are there other moments like that you wish would happen more?
It's interesting. I think this episode alone showed a lot of depth that it doesn't usually show within Quantico. Everything from even Shelby and Leon's story,
I still don't know what's going on there.
It's funny. I think she's just, like she said, she's happy to be in a situation where no one knows sad Shelby, whose parents, fooled
Sad
her.
Shelby.
Yeah, I mean, she is sad at
She
me,
does. She
the
does
character
use
is
her
sad.
backstory quite a
Oh
bit
my
to
gosh,
like.
yeah.
I wrote down
Hated that
sob
moment.
story.
Like, I was just rolling my eyes. Oh, poor you, Shelby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can escape.
Yeah.
No, you were just, like, wanting to sleep with this random guy
Right.
on a mission. Like, maybe, fake an identity when you're back home. You're on a mission. You can't keep it in your pants for, like, a few more months.
Right.
Are you serious? That bothered me, honestly. Like, I thought she was a great agent, and that pissed me off.
Yeah,
I hated her reasoning. I wanted better reasoning. And then at the end of the day, the princess won. She gets to maybe do this more for the mission.
But to Shelby's credit, if you look at her backstory and what we learned about her last season and what she went through, she lost her parents. Found out her parents were like terrible people. Then, literally, and then she was with Caleb, and then that was
she
kind of
completely turned on him.
well.
And he
Well,
was
she
like,
was
loved her.
right, but she was with Caleb, and then she was with Caleb's dad. Now,
Right.
she's got some issues
You're not
happening.
really giving credit to Shelby. You're just making it look
I know.
We
I
all
meant to say.
have
I
issues.
meant to say like she's clearly got some psychological issues going on.
Right.
To where I wrote down Shelby keeps using her sob story to get close to Leon. That's what I wrote. Like
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I don't know any sister. Oh, and then she had to deal with her sister.
Yes.
Who was like who's exploiting money from her.
Yeah.
But then it turned out that her sister wasn't really exploiting money for her. It was the
It was
husband.
her husband. Like
The
there's
sister's
so much
husband.
happening
And
going
I
on in
get-
Shelby's life.
She's been through a lot. A lot of us have been through a lot. I'm just saying,
like
if she
taking it
can't keep
personal.
her eyes on the prize, then perhaps she shouldn't be on this mission.
Right.
Get a new handler. Caleb? Question mark?
Yeah.
Speaking of Caleb, in the past, I sat down and we talk about it every episode.
We got
Where's
excited.
Caleb Haas? Raina says, "Hey, is that Caleb?" And then we come to find out that it's not Caleb. It's actually Leon.
That she played
which
the
we
ultimate
played the ult-
cheater's guide
Oh,
and
for
changed
sure.
Changed
names
the name.
in phones.
Renee was all
Yeah.
over that. Like,
She really
I
was.
am so proud of you.
I was
That
like,
was
I
an
bet you
amazing
changed the
call.
name.
We were all excited.
We're like, yes,
Caleb, he might be
Yeah.
back.
And I wish.
But why do you think that she would change? I mean, she's obviously close. I mean, Raina went through school with her.
Because she's
Raina does not like that she's sleeping with this random guy.
Right. No, I meant like why? Yes.
I just think she knows not to tell Raina that she's Nima. It's Nima. She knows not to tell Nima that she's sleeping with this guy, but he's gonna text her.
But why put Caleb's name though?
Because
Out of all the names
Because
you
who
could
else
put
does she
down.
put in there that wouldn't be like shady? Like, ooh, Ben. Who the hell's Ben? Like, who in her life is Ben? Caleb would be more believable.
Well, maybe we know that she knows that Caleb is somewhere now that like.
Caleb's at a law firm in
Can't-
Berkeley.
Right. Right. And let's call a spade a spade. If you have to lie about something,
So
if you have
say.
to have
So they
a
say.
change, like a name change in your phone, you're not supposed to be doing it. If
Right.
you're lying
Oh, yeah.
to me, you know you're not supposed to be doing it. So why are you doing it? I mean, we obviously found out why she was doing it, but
Right.
come on.
Yeah, I mean, and in the chat room,
Instagram.
they're you know, I as a handler, Shelby's really compromising a situation. So what is Shelby's motive? Like when in the last episode, did you guys find it weird that Shelby popped up in that coffee
coming down-
shop?
Oh,
At the
coffee
end?
shop, yeah.
No, at the beginning, like when we first saw Leon and Shelby, she's like she was just in the coffee shop. Like why was she there?
I totally thought that was weird. I'm so glad that you pointed that out. I'm like, first of all, yes, I guess these
Because
people
like it
should have
there's
lives.
no such thing as a coincidence.
No.
Why was
That's
Shelby there? Why
true.
was Leon there?
Yeah.
I didn't bring it up last week because I didn't think about it, but I watched the episode again, so I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm
Like you're
like, why
at
was
the
she there?
same coffee shop. Like this, they're not
Do they
in New
know
York
each other?
City. So it's not like they both are like, oh, there's my apartment
Right.
and there's my office. Like,
Right.
no, you should be nowhere near each other.
Right, and he's a photojournalist, so he's not an idiot.
Yeah.
He knows.
sees things.
He's seen Raina. He's seen Shelby Wyatt before.
Yeah, I do find that weird. I mean, they're all at the farm. The fact that he hasn't found out who she is, but now if he doesn't know, that's odd. I mean, Harry, give him like a laptop in 20 minutes, like he'll find
Yeah,
out
yeah.
everything. He's like my dream man to do cyber stalking with. I'd love to be like, this is a guy I want you to look into.
Oh my gosh.
Give me a phone.
That just made me think of something else when Ryan and Alex were talking about the bug in the beginning of the episode or whatever they were talking about. I feel like I'm confusing episodes now, but when they were talking about the people to investigate between Lee, Diana, I feel like we're just rotating the same three people. Like
Right.
We are.
Sebastian, I feel like wasn't even mentioned as like a maybe, and Harry keeps getting mentioned, but he's MI6 now, and it's just like throw someone else in there just to
Right.
make us feel like you're searching, you know?
Well, it also made me think about just throwing other people in there. This whole coincidence thing, because I was like, maybe it is just a coincidence. But then I thought of when Harry met Will at the
I
bar.
was gonna say Sally.
And
No.
no,
When Harry
wrong
met-
show.
Wrong movie, wrong everything.
Wrong error.
Wrong sexual orientation. Everything.
Everything.
No, when Harry met Will at the bar, and then you're like, oh, this is like a nice moment. Like Will came out of nowhere, and they're having like this romantic thing, but then it just comes out to find out that Harry's just using Will to kind of get
Yeah.
to Shelby. So it's like,
But Harry's using
I don't think. I
everything.
think you're right. Nothing's a coincidence. I don't know where
Nothing
Leon
is a
and
coincidence.
Shelby got in that coffee shop. together.
Trust no one. Okay, so that's the past. I mean, like the past was kind of a quick thing to this episode. It was just
Yeah,
kind
more
of
about
like
the
drones and then drones
Hmm.
and backstory, and then Harry still trying to figure out what Ryan and Alex are up to. And it'll be interesting to see what MI6 like. If MI6 sent him there did MI6 send him there for a reason? To infiltrate, like what is his
He
reasoning?
said we
and
just
why
get,
is
we
he
learn.
Yes, but why is he so infatuated with
Ryan.
what Ryan and Alex are doing?
I don't know.
That's weird to me.
I wrote that down. I was like, why is he so obsessed? There's a lot of things
Obsessed.
going on with Harry. And then pointing
Too
out
many
that,
stories.
that whole drone like story. I love how Sebastian said no, and then Harry and Leon had that thing, and then all of a sudden Sebastian was like,
Now
you know
I'm
what?
in.
Yes, and I was like,
Why?
what? Because somebody
That logic
questioned
didn't
your
make
sexual
sense.
orientation.
Right.
You're
I
like, you know
know.
what? No, I want to kill this guy now.
Hands
because
down.
does that make you feel more masculine? I'm a little confused.
Right, like
Hands down.
great decision making right
You're
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I definitely
Yeah.
use my sexual orientation every time I want to kill someone. It's usually the first thing that I do. First decision. It's one
I
of the
didn't get that.
it's
I'm
one
glad
of
you
the
brought that
it's
up.
one of the 7 steps that I go
Yeah.
after. Is there a legal basis? Is does my sexual orientation tell me what to do? So fast forward to the present.
Yes.
Guys, I'm really sad that I starred and wrote down Caleb text Shelby. And then it turned out something
Nothing.
Can we not bring up the C word?
And then the ceremony.
Still
What
mourning.
ceremony were they talking about?
They were having Simon's ceremony at the end. They did for the 1 year anniversary of Simon Asher's death. With
Shelby should have taken one for the team and gone so we could have seen Caleb. Like,
So
America wants to see Caleb. Okay?
America wants to see.
Show us Caleb.
Okay, so fast forward to the
Graham Rogers, where are you?
fast forward to the present. Okay, so one of the things that we mentioned last week, and I know Renee and you and I talked about it, was that we thought that all the recruits, everybody was released.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they weren't. Sorry,
Yeah,
everybody. We
really.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, because there's two buildings that they're in.
Right, and we had no idea what was happening.
We lost. We're like, now they're all out. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So we find out. So now now everybody gets shoved into like this library. We really focus on Sebastian, Harry, Raina, or Nima. I always forget because they're all.
It was
The one
Rain.
in there was
was
Raina,
Raina, okay.
Right.
but it's
Got it.
actually Nima,
Nima,
which we don't find out until the end.
Nima, Leon, Diana, and they're all trying to figure out what each other was doing there. What they've been doing since the time they left the farm to the time that they got to that situation. It took, I thought it was weird for a long time why it took Sebastian a long time. Like, he was getting really upset.
Yeah, about because he's married, whatever.
But he took that ring off real quick, didn't he?
Well, I mean, he sure did. Yeah, he was like, I'm married.
Just saying. I'm sorry.
But I
up real
thought
quick,
the
didn't
whole
he?
point was like, because maybe I looked down, his wife wasn't there.
Yeah, where is she?
Yeah, where the heck is his wife?
And he's
I
certainly not
understand if you
concerned
didn't
about
say
it.
that. That's
I'm
what I'm
with
saying.
my wife.
If
really?
you said it because she
Is
was
your wife in
here,
this room?
Yeah,
and you don't
I'm
want
with
her
my
to get it-
boyfriend.
right? And you don't want her to get like murdered, then you
You would
don't
be-
say it. I
yeah.
get it, but if she's not there, what does it matter?
But there's also some really weird, because we talk about all the time, like, nobody is concerned about, nobody has brought up the fact that the first lady's head was chopped off in episode 1.
I know, and
Everybody,
that was...
so Sebastian's reaction to his wife not being there is not so surprising at all
Well,
to
and
me.
they also just threw the president away because they were like, oh yeah, he escaped with the
And
other
the president
hostages.
escaped, and he could barely walk, and he's old, whatever. It's all the throwaway relationships on Quantico,
Totally.
except for Ryan and
Seriously.
Alex.
Of course.
Brian and Alex.
Right. So we find out that what the mission is now, what the AIC wants, which are these hard drives that contain all of this information, decades worth of intelligence, clandestine operations, text messages, probably Hillary Clinton's email. They're probably going to
That's where they
find.
are.
That's where they are, Donald Trump.
returns.
Donald Trump's tax returns. It's all on this one big server on Quantico on ABC. We found him. We found every one of them. So I think that was so the phones, I guess, contain the code that will help decrypt these hard drives so they can get all of this information. Did you guys think that was a little anticlimactic?
Yeah.
Like they're going after some hard drives?
Yeah, because but
I don't
that's
think
not
that's it.
What is it? What's on those hard drives
Right.
aside from what we know? There has to be something huge on there. So we don't know yet because it's only not even the mid-season finale yet. So we don't know all the juicy details. It was just okay. So many things though with Alex and Lydia in that scene. Like, girl, you made it that far. You're just gonna like give her the phone at this point. I would still hold her and be like, "What do I do?"
Totally.
Because anything you can do, I can do better.
Oh,
I can do anything.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because last episode we saw Lydia and Alex in the thing, and I immediately wrote down last week, do we trust the situation? Obviously we find out that we could not trust that situation. And I remember us saying that we immediately thought that Lydia was, and Tim, I know you're new to this panel, but how much did you trust Lydia up to that point?
I didn't trust her at all. I thought that she was going to be the recruiter instead of her father, and I still don't think that her father was the main recruiter.
He's too busy
neither.
thinking about himself.
I don't. I haven't trusted Lydia from episode 1.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
know how I
she's.
feel about that. All the black people. What is happening?
Well, actually, you know what? Speaking of that, I don't actually, and Renee and I were talking about this before the show started, I don't necessarily 100% believe, necessarily 100% believe, that Miranda Shaw is bad. I think she's playing this double agent thing. I think at the end of maybe the mid-season finale or the actual finale, that is going to come around that Miranda was like, I was just playing infiltrator.
She's recruiting so many people.
Right. I mean, we talk about how confusing this show is for everybody. First of all, you get this back and forth thing between the present and the past. And then you've got these characters who you don't really know, you don't really trust. And then you've got Miranda possibly playing this double agent. Like, it's too many stories in one show.
Yeah.
And I love this show, but I'm saying there's just far too many different webs. That's confusing.
It's not even just the webs. It's the webs with no kind of supporting answer.
Right.
Like, out of
Yeah.
left field
Yeah.
webs.
Right.
Totally.
Like absolutely that make no sense.
Right.
That
We already have enough people not to trust.
Like literally,
Agreed.
it's
Don't
like in a
need-
hat.
Like with
these
Will,
are suggestions.
Will was like, "Oh yeah, I convinced Shelby
Right.
that you were innocent, and I'm in on it too." Like, what do you?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
The first thing that's made sense for me, like in this web, was this episode when we found out that most likely with the twins and Miranda, that connected for me
Agreed.
because
Hands
Miranda
down.
wanted to work with these twins since season 1. That clicked with me. However, nothing else has. Like, I don't know
Right.
But
why.
that does give me hope for what Miranda's doing
Yeah.
Right.
because the way that those two worked.
Right.
And Nima obviously just disappeared from the FBI headquarters and right? I mean, was she even
Right.
she was around in the beginning.
She was.
Nemo was in
They
the
talked
beginning.
about her.
Reyna was at
Reyna
the
was-
end,
The-
but they were
the-
swapping.
Oh my
But and then in the
That was cool, though.
in the past, Reyna or whoever Nima talked about why they hadn't talked to their sister in a long time.
Why they hadn't talked to each
why they
other,
talked to each
yeah,
other in a
because
long time
Simon's
because
death came
Simon
between them, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is BS.
No, it's not.
It's totally BS.
No, because Reyna was in love with Simon, and then
Oh no, I think she was in love with Simon.
Oh.
I don't think that created a disconnect. I think that
it
Reyna
did.
and Nima were working with Miranda from the time that they were handlers. I think this was set up.
You think Miranda has been their handler this whole time?
I think that from the beginning of this mission, if Miranda is behind this all, or maybe not the first person behind it all, but someone bad like we think she is, and she's the one working with the twins, I think that Nima would have had to have been in on it from when we're watching while they're at the farm.
I don't think so, because in that last moment, Reyna was tied up in the chair, and she looked pretty upset, like she was crying or something. So I don't know. She was having maybe she got her period or something. I
but
don't
to
know.
that point, we did see that we've seen them both now.
Yes,
At
finally.
the end, finally. Don't know what that means. We'll see. Obviously, see next week. One of the other things that happened. So we talked about all the recruits in the room. So they start talking about Jakar and where they were from, and all these different places, all these different regions. Lee, the other people that were in the room, and of course in TV, you know that there are no coincidences. Obviously, if you bring in a new character or somebody says a word or a day player says something, obviously that person is important to a part of the story.
Right.
So you heard the CNN reporter, and then you heard there was another guy who was a he was
Something
just-
silly.
He was yeah.
Like something where like
Yeah,
we should
I
have
can't
mixed
remember.
with the CIA. Like,
Right.
It was
You're
like,
why are you
I'm
there?
the head of Yelp. Like something like that.
He probably was the
The head of the
head of Yelp.
Something. It was something
But
that wasn't.
but
related.
when Lee starts to mention Jakara, it was almost I didn't even notice what was happening around them, like who didn't leave their side.
Right.
And then automatically we had to rewind it because I
Yeah.
remember being like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
And
They
you
paused
saw
on
the
that
CNN
woman, yeah.
Lady
just literally snatched Lee up.
Yeah, as soon
because
as she
is
said that
code
she had a
word.
layover in Surabaya.
Right.
And I was like, what is that?
And she
mean?
goes, Lee goes right, and then they cut to the CNN lady looking like and listening that she messed up, and then boom, they snatched her. up.
Boom. She grabs her. She runs her out the room, and then Lee comes back in. And they kind of set us up with Lee from this, giving us this backstory on Lee in terms of like her kids and all this stuff.
I
and-
really liked Lee. She
I
was
liked
actually
her
one of my favorite characters.
and her post-it
Up
notes
until
on the
now, yeah.
trees.
Because she,
Rest
but
in
she
peace
came
for
out
Lee.
of nowhere, like you said. Like she came.
The CNN lady came out of
No, I
or
mean
Lee came out of
in
nowhere.
just a few
In the
episodes
show,
ago.
yeah,
did,
she
yeah.
did.
You know,
Right,
she
so they kind of set us up for a character, like a kind of a throwaway character that we were starting to get to like and starting to get to know, and they wanted to kill us because that's what they do to us.
Yeah, right.
But then this whole Jakarta and Surabaya thing just bring us back to the fact that do we really think that these hard drives are just a cover up? Like he can't just be about these hard drives. Like what did Jakarta and Surabaya have to do with anything?
Right.
That was all Harry putting together a common ground.
Right.
So who
Right.
knows? But then, yeah, obviously something was a code word because they took her out of
Because
They-
once
there.
they
they
snatched
started
up
snatching-
Nima,
right.
Nima when in the room went, she's one of them.
But why? So they snatched her out. They snatched Lee out. Then they snatched Diana out for mentioning another code
With
word
Nima.
with Nima. However,
Oh yeah, well, Nima.
Well, it's
Nima,
Nima,
yeah.
but it's they think it's Raina.
however, Raina, who was in the room? I keep
Nima.
missing-
Nima is just as Raina.
Never mentioned Jakar, but then when she went out, she was like, "I think she's one of them." So why kill Lee?
Right.
And if why kill
She only
Lee?
said
Why kill Lee
Diana.
if you don't think that Lee was one of them?
Because remember, they took Lee out and asked her a whole bunch of questions, so I guess whatever answers that she gave to those questions weren't satisfying, so they put her back in
Right.
the room and killed her in front of everybody.
Right, but why snatch Nima out and Diana out?
Because remember, right before Lee got snatched out, Diana and her were talking about Surabaya together.
Right,
Yeah,
but
they
I'm
use
no,
that
no. What
word.
I'm saying is, if
You
Nima,
guys, I'm so confused.
right, no. So at the end,
Yeah.
Nima is talking to the three AIC members,
Yes.
three AIC members, whoever they are. I
Yeah.
don't think they are, whatever. If she's on the good guy side, why kill Lee if Diana and Lee were both talking about the same location?
And Lee's the one who
And
messed
Lee's
up.
the one. What did they think she was one of them? Is my question.
What,
They think she was a bad guy?
well, here's the thing with that.
brain
To,
hurts.
to step on that, how did, if the FBI are one group that took Nima out of the room, how did they get away with that?
Well,
Do you understand? Like,
those are the whoever these are the terrorists,
Yeah,
correct?
they all are.
Unless everyone's wearing the same outfit and we're supposed to follow along and know who's who. Because I can't. I'm hoping this is
what
the
I'm
terrorist
saying.
group and it's saying that Nima is part of this group, regardless of if it's a double agent. As far as we know, as the
Right.
audience, she's part of this group.
then who
and
is
so
she
she's
saying Diana is?
one of them. We don't know who them is.
One-
I'm
Okay,
thinking.
that's what
I'm thinking.
That's what I'm getting
it's
at.
the-
Like,
One of
who's
them is in the
them?
people who have been to Surabaya. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
So they're probably on a different. This probably has to do with the main mission
Right.
that this is, and then she's saying, "I think she's one of them." So that means someone else, a different group that this terrorist group is against.
Right.
The terrorist group
Right,
that we've
and
known
I
to
think,
create
and,
all
right.
this chaos.
And to that point, I think that we are, like we said, we're 6 episodes in. I think we've got a couple more left to the mid-season finale, if not next week. And I think they have to start. They can't. I'm really hoping they do not add another layer to this story.
No, not
Yeah.
one more.
It is
Not one
too
more.
much, like this late in the game. Like,
Agreed.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just too much. It's too much. for me.
Okay, quick question, because one scene confused me with Lydia. She is the AIC we found out.
No,
No.
but she said, "I'm CIA. I'm taking these hard drives. I can't destroy them. I'm protecting them."
That I don't understand
Trust.
completely because I don't know. I mean, yes, I guess it would be for the mission. Okay, and yeah, Alex was kicked out, so I guess she could be part. But there are people that are part of the CAA. So how did she get away? And how the heck did she get a remote?
She
She
stole
stole
it
it
from the
from the
guy on
guy,
the
yeah.
ground.
Okay.
Wait,
okay.
she says she did. Oh, to
Yeah, because-
activate
yeah,
her thing
yeah.
and make it.
The
Yeah,
first guy
yeah,
that
yeah.
she took out.
Again, it's just all like it's one thing if we just didn't know who Lydia and Miranda, like what sides they were on, but it's another to not know what the overall
Mission
Mission
right.
is.
And my
Yeah,
other
I
the other
agree.
the other weird thing to me is this whole time everybody's like, "Who's under the mask? Who's under the mask? Who are these
Yeah.
people? Who are these people?" Yet every time they kill somebody,
They
Alex,
never
Lydia,
take
they
off
never
the
take
mask.
off the mask.
It's like every
Totally.
Scream movie.
yes.
They get the killer down. They're like, we should just run while he's unconscious. That's a
Yes.
good idea. Let's not
Yes.
figure out who's doing this so we can report them to the police.
And then the only time that they actually got a kind of a successful mask takeoff was when it was actually Alex in the mask.
Yeah.
And Ryan took her down, and I was
Right.
like, well, that's the wrong time.
The other thing that we learned this episode
he
is
go, by
that
the
way?
at the
It's like,
end,
really, though.
the other thing that we learned during the Alex Lydia kind of walkthrough is that Owen's in jail.
Yes, I
Yeah.
thought that was huge.
Yeah, me too.
And it was kind of a throwaway comment. Like in the episode, it was kind of said in passing as if, we knew about it.
Yeah.
And so why do you guys think, why do you guys think that Owen's in jail? And do you think Alex is responsible for it?
Well, she said,
they made it
yeah,
seem
she
like
said
Alex is
sorry.
responsible for it.
Yeah.
Which I love. And Lydia was like, you try it in person next time. Okay. Like, that's important right now?
Right.
Like, as we're like...
I can't imagine, again, another piece of the story that you're like,
Huh?
what could Alex possibly
I
do?
will tell you that finding that information out made me think that Owen is kind of behind whatever's going on here.
No way, Jose.
No.
I don't
no.
think so, really, because
Yeah,
he would have to also
truth
get
in the
out,
chat room
but-
says, I'm guessing Owen is good and Lydia is
And
bad.
I agree with that, but that moment that she said that, I was like, ooh, now he has something to like be mad about.
Here's the thing. If Lydia is bad, and she's not really the CIA, and she's not really protecting the hard drives, whatever, then why didn't she kill Alex? Alex is clearly the smartest, the toughest. She's a badass bitch. Like, she's gonna get this done. She's gonna figure it out. Obviously,
She said, "I'm gonna kill you." That's what she told Lydia.
that I'm gonna kill you. Oh, Alex said that. Yeah, so
Alex
why
said that
didn't
to Lydia.
Lydia kill her if she's bad?
But that's why I'm guessing that that's why I was
she's
thinking that
good?
yeah.
Because if she does turn out to be bad, I just don't understand that scene. That makes no sense to me because Alex would be the one to figure this all out, and
Well-
she's still, I don't know.
Well,
If
right
we-
now, as far as Alex knows, she's part of the CIA.
And
so
if we
it's-
kill Alex, there's no show.
well, there you go.
You know what I
Real
mean?
life.
You can't kill the main character on the show. You're just not gonna kill
Sure.
Priyanka Chopra.
And then she set off the alarm.
Yeah, that was probably just to be like, okay, mission's over.
Can we
I've got these.
There's something that someone said in the chat room. Who was
You wrote
it?
it
Charmed Original?
I wrote it down too about Lydia's mom.
Yes.
Miranda being Lydia's. I was
Miranda
thinking
being
that.
Lydia's
Thank
mom.
God you brought that up.
And the reason I want to bring that up is because I want to then start talking about Miranda and Will. Like, where?
Yeah, but where was Will this whole episode?
I know.
Will
I just
wasn't even
don't
in this episode.
understand. But the whole phone call and being like, on both sides.
Yeah.
But anyway, to finish that comment, Miranda, for anyone who didn't see Miranda, the Charmed Original said that they think Miranda is Lydia's mom and possibly the ex of
Owen.
Owen. And we were just
But
talking
then that
about
would make
Owen,
her
so.
some. I don't know.
I don't think Miranda would be out of the kid's life. I feel like, first of all, Miranda would have had to have had this child and then be like, nah, no, I'd rather have a sociopath as a son for several years and have him,
Right.
like, there's no way.
And she can't have two messed up kids. I mean, like the chances of having two
all have
really,
mommy
really
issues.
messed up kids.
But it's amazing to think that Miranda has any idea. Like, the whole idea of this whole season is that the the AIC is 3 steps ahead or 10 steps ahead of
The CIA.
the CIA and the FBI
And
and,
the FBI.
everybody else. So, if
so many
it's
steps.
too
I
much,
know.
it's too much.
It's all 7
But
steps that we learned
yes.
today.
But if that's the case, and Miranda is not part of it, and she is part of this like secret FBI section that is trying to uncover it, then that means she's really somehow also involved and was 10 steps ahead of them and like, right?
Well,
Right.
then that's why I think that this thing with Miranda and Nima started with the handlers, because that's when they would have been setting all this up and recruiting the people that are now doing this. Regardless if Miranda is the recruiter, I don't think she is. I think it's someone in the farm right now. But this had to have been planned ahead of time, which means Nima automatically off the bat, where we see her now, is against Shelby if Shelby really doesn't know, which I don't think she does, and working with just Miranda, which is why I also think that if they were sent on different missions to be the handlers, I think it's possible that Ryan was sent on a different mission than Alex for this mission.
You know what?
Bravo!
Yes, I'm
amazing.
clapping.
I don't even know what, you know, this entire time I was like, we need a whiteboard behind
That
us.
makes
We need to be able to
sense, though.
We need
plot
thread
everything.
and,
We need to
like,
do that.
If anyone
Because-
didn't get that, rewind. 'Cause
Yes,
that
you
made
can rewind
sense.
because I'm gonna need
I was
to know
waiting
that.
for you. I was like, let's
like,
go.
okay.
It was like this with the
Oh my
things.
gosh.
But it was
three
like the
card
card.
Nazis.
Yes.
Okay, so on that note,
Oh my
let's
gosh.
go and talk about a little predictions.
What?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Predictions. Okay, Tim, you're new to the show. Your prediction.
I predict, like I said earlier in the show, that Miranda is not as bad as we all think that she is. Renee kind of like added another layer to that in saying that maybe Raina and Nima have been together because they were together in the past season also. The first season, with them kind of fooling everybody in the FBI and stuff like that. So I think that Miranda, Nima, and Raina are all in on this. That's my prediction.
And Will. Now Will.
And now Will.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I also will stick with that. I think that Alex and Ryan were sent on different missions for this. And I think next episode, Alex, I'm hoping because it's a mid-season finale, I think she's going to find out, like, Miranda is part of this somehow and then immediately be like, what? And then I think that will be some kind of reveal for her. So we're all like, oh my God, what's she going to do now?
Andy?
I'm not gonna touch that. We'll just leave that. I think that Shelby is gonna try and go undercover and get burned maybe by Harry, who's gonna see her again and go, "What the hell now?" Because
And he's gonna be
she's
all up in
fooling
her
around with
business
Leon.
now.
Yeah. And I do think Miranda is not bad. I think she's doing this for good. I don't know how. I just can't wait to find out. And I don't think that Lydia gets out alive or cleanly with the hard drives that she has.
Ooh.
I don't know how or what, again, but like I don't think she makes it down stairwell number 2 without getting somehow discovered or somebody interrupting it.
I am still trying to figure out, because we've seen a lot of the characters in the room, but then there's so many other characters in this kind of rogue group. Like, I'm really hoping they don't introduce any more characters, because we don't need any more characters. Please, no more characters. I can barely keep up with Raina.
I know you really can't. Every episode, you're like, Nima, no
which
Raina.
one of them? And you know what the cool thing about it is? It's the same actress. She's doing double work.
She's amazing.
And
Which I
it's
love,
really
yeah.
great.
She's
and,
so good.
And I think that I agree with you. Lydia doesn't make it out because we've only seen one death of our main characters so far.
I know.
And that I feel like, you know what, Simon came back. What if Simon never died?
Stop.
That's what I was like.
I'm done.
There's
done.
Simon's behind it
done.
all.
Throw the
Simon
microphone.
is behind it
Dude, just
all.
flip a table.
You all let me die for this?
Right,
I'm alive.
right, exactly.
Surprise.
Well, we
No.
definitely want to know.
I think Owen might. Something with Owen coming back
Owen
from
escaped
jail.
the jail.
There's
Owen
no
escaped
way.
jail.
He's
El
pulling
Chapo.
strings from somewhere.
Right, he's El Chapo. He escaped jail. Oh my
You
god.
guys, we are so punchy. It's an hour,
Yes.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Behind.
We want to know what your predictions are. Yes, rest in peace, Leah, and possibly Diana
Possibly
next
Diana.
week. Let us know your prediction and use the hashtag ABTVQuantico. Follow us on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV, but you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drexel Heard.
Hi, you can follow me at Andrea Fasano. And you guys, thanks so much for watching.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well at I am Timothy. Mike, it was such a pleasure being here with you
Yes,
guys.
you're
This was
fantastic.
so much fun.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel and on Snapchat at the Renee Ariel.
Season 2, episode 6 is next week, maybe possibly the mid-season finale, but I don't think so because that's not what the preview said. Make sure you guys go out and vote on Tuesday, November 8th is election day, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.